Hey everybody, hope this finds you doing well. This is Danelle here at Networkchain. Today we're going to talk about the news of the past week, or at least the biggest news stories over the past week. Of course, let's go ahead and start off with the cryptocurrency market update. As you can see, Bitcoin is currently trading nearing $64,000, currently trading at around $63,792. It's up nearly 9% over the past 7 days. Ethereum breaking that $2,500 mark. It's currently trading at $2,610, up almost 14% over the past 7 days. So it's actually outperforming Bitcoin over the past week, which has not been the case for most of 2024. Solana nearing $150. It's up over 12% at $147. Or just under $147. You have XRP trading just under 60 cents. It had been in that 50-cent range for a very long time and now breaking towards 59 cents at 58.9 cents and up nearly 4% over the past week. And you have Dogecoin up over 5%, Toncoin up over 2%, and Tron holding down the top 10 spot, up 2%, trading at 15 cents. So if we look at the Bitcoin chart over this past week, one of the biggest news stories was that the FOMC, which is the Federal Reserve here in the United States, recently announced that they will be doing an interest rate cut, and that happened on September 18th. So you can see here, Bitcoin about a week ago was trading at around that $58,000 to $59,000 range, and then you can see it started to run up September 18th after the announcement of the rate cut, and since then it has been trading above $60,000, trading at around $63,000, up and down in that range for the last few days. So we definitely will keep you posted on what's happening with the Bitcoin price. There's also some other major news with regards to traditional finance and the Bitcoin ETFs. We'll get to that in a moment. But as I mentioned, the Federal Reserve announced that they will be looking to cut the federal funds rate by 0.5 percentage point. So you can see here, in light of the progress in inflation and the balance of risks, the committee decided to lower the target range for the federal funds rate by 0.5 percentage point, which is basically 50 basis points, to 4.25% to 5%. In considering additional adjustments to the target range for the federal funds rate, the committee will carefully assess incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risk. The committee will continue reducing its holdings of Treasury securities and agency debt and agency-backed securities. The committee is strongly committed to supporting maximum employment and in returning inflation to its 2% objective. So as we've talked about in several videos before, the Federal Reserve had said that their goal was to get inflation down to 2%. We recently had the CPI data, which is the Consumer Price Index, come out, and it is below 3%. It came in at about 2.9%. So they do have that 2 in the number for inflation, and because it was as high as 9%. And as you can see here, if we look at the history of the federal rate hikes, when we started to see that inflation rate go as high as 9%, they started to aggressively cutting the federal funds rate, which in turn caused the market in general, especially stock market as well as Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, other assets, to go down because of the fact that the interest rates were going up, meaning that it was going to cost more to borrow money, to borrow the US dollar. So you can see here, since the first quarter of 2022, the federal funds rate was being aggressively hiked over the last, or I should say from the first quarter of 2022, and they stopped cutting after July of 2023 of last year. And it's been holding steady for approximately a little over a year now at this point. And they just announced on September 18th that they will be changing the rate and doing a rate cut of 50 basis points, 50 bips, as you see here. So that was a positive catalyst for the stock market as well as for digital assets to see a spike up after that announcement on September 18th. It remains to be seen what this week will unfold, but a lot of people remain optimistic about what's going to happen going into the remainder of 2024. Other big news in the cryptocurrency space, especially when it comes to Bitcoin ETFs, is that the SEC approves options trading on BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF, IBIT. So IBIT is one of the 11 Bitcoin ETFs that are currently publicly trading on the market, and they are the first to get approved. Most likely, some of the other ETFs, if not all the other ETFs, will also get approval, but they are the first to get the approval. You can see here a portion of the filing from the Security and Exchange Commission. So they have approved options for BlackRock Spot ETF. So what will happen is that Bitcoin will be delivered to fulfill the contract. So basically, options trading relates to people having the opportunity to buy 100 shares of the Bitcoin ETF, but not obligated. They have the option to buy, which is called also exercising that option to fulfill that contract that is made between a buyer and a seller. So these American style options can be exercised at any time before the expiration date, providing flexibility for traders. It also provides a lot more liquidity coming into the market, and also allows a lot of traders the opportunity to hedge just in case Bitcoin decides to fall, or even if it goes up. So you can hedge either way. And so institutions like this option to be able to have more options to hedge for that particular underlying asset. So you can see here, one of the Bloomberg ETF analysts says that he's assuming that the others will be approved in short order, and that this is a huge win for Bitcoin ETFs. And so we will definitely keep you posted as we learn more about when they will actually start trading on the open market. And as Balchunas said, that Bloomberg analyst, is that this is just one stage of approval. The OCC and CFTC has to approve as well before they can list it. So that's the Commodities Future and Trade Commission that also need to approve it. But it is a huge step, because usually the biggest hurdle is the Security and Exchange Commission when it comes to different securities having the opportunity to trade on the open market. Another news story that we just continue to seemingly repeat almost every quarter is that Microstrategy continues to aggressively acquire and buy Bitcoin. And so they have acquired another 7,420 Bitcoin. So they now hold 252,220 Bitcoin total. That also showed a spike up in their stock, given this news, as well as the other news that we've mentioned with regards to the Federal Reserve and just the overall market generally having a nice spike up over the last several days. And if we go here, if you look at the comparison of MicroStrategy's stock performance since it adopted its Bitcoin strategy in August of 2020, it has outperformed all S&P 500 companies, which are the top 500 companies in the United States. And you can see that it even outperformed Bitcoin, as well as the Magnificent Seven and the S&P 500 as a whole when you think about the S&P 500 index. So a lot of things happening in the digital asset space. We'll continue to keep you posted as usual. Please check us out not only on X, but as well as IG. We post there nearly every day. Thank you so much for watching. In the meantime, take care. We look forward to linking up with you on the Networkchain very soon. Bye-bye.